Good morning, everyone. Your Excellencies, distinguished speaker, I'm very honored to moderate this panel today. Digital transformation in Africa cannot be achieved by governments alone. Private sector investment, innovation and expertise are essential to complement public sector leadership and policy direction. Across the continent, public and private partnerships are driving progress in areas such as broadband infrastructure, mobile money, cloud services, e-government. But there are still key issues in designing sustainable partnership models, de-risking the private sector industry investment, harmonizing regulation across border, and ensuring that partnerships deliver inclusive benefits rather than widening digital divides. So by strengthening collaboration between governments and industry, African nations can accelerate digital transformation, attract investment, and unlock new opportunities for growth, jobs, and improve, of course, public service delivery. So with that context in mind, I would like to turn to you, Your Excellencies, distinguished speakers, with my first question. So, Your Excellency, on public-private partnership models, can you tell us which one have proven the most effective in accelerating digital transformation in your country? And how can government structure agreements to balance... Sorry. Yeah. Not too close. Oh, sorry. So how, in accelerating digital transformation, the question that I will give to each of you, it's how you can structure agreements to balance public interest with private sector returns. What are the most effective model?
Very distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sam Ode, Deputy Governor of Benue State, one of the subnational governments in Nigeria. The concept of the public-private partnership in digital transformation, just like any other public-private partnerships, is anchored on the institutional framework that we provide for the private sector being the key driver of this partnership. And in order for us to have investor confidence, we must have deep-rooted institutional frameworks, the legal framework that will give confidence to the investors. And for Benue as a subnational, we have established the Benue Digital Infrastructure Company. We have also, in the same vein, established regulatory frameworks and agencies. Particularly, we have the Benue Digital Infrastructure Services Management and Enforcement Agency. This platform is a key regulator for the sector. And we have been able to connect with the Galaxy Backbone, which is the federal government of Nigeria platform for digital transformation. This and other partnerships like the African Digital Infrastructure Company have provided the necessary linkages that will promote a seamless digital transformation environment. This is the trend that we have today in Nigeria, and particularly in Benue as a subnational government.
Thank you very much. Major General Mohamed, do you want to tell us your experience of public-private partnerships in Egypt?
First of all, I would like to express my appreciation and gratitude for Republic of Zambia for hosting this conference. And I'll proceed in this question. The Egyptian Ministry of Interior is leveraging various public-private partnership models to finance and implement security projects like Smart ID, e-passport, and border control, ensuring government oversight and long-term sustainability. Financing models, as we know all, build, operate, transfer, BOT, or BOOT, or public-private partnership, the Egyptian government has established a robust legal framework, including law, to regulate PPP projects and attract private investment. Private sector partnership models, private sector collaboration. We have many collaboration with private sector, especially national companies and international companies. We depend on this collaboration from private sector, and we depend on international funding. Egypt has signed a memorandum of understanding with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development to expand collaboration on PPPs and attract strategic investments. Research and development partnership. The government is encouraging collaboration between industry and academia to develop cutting-edge technology, such as biometric authentication and AI-powered border control. Infrastructure and development roads, we have depend on this financing in infrastructure development and healthcare and energy. How we ensure sustainability? By regulatory framework. Egypt has issued PP law on 2010 to ensure transparency, efficiency, and investor confidence. And we make risk allocation to clear guidance on risk allocation, and revenue sharing mechanisms are in place. In dispute resolutions, mechanism for arbitration and legal resource are available in case of conflicts. And that's all.
Turning to you, Ambassador Ochiang. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Could you share with us your experience of public-private partnership in Kenya? I'm too close.
Absolutely, Moderator. First, let me take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this event, and especially the government and the Republic of Zambia and the people of Zambia for the warm reception that they've carried us since we arrived in this beautiful city of Lusaka. Let me take a deep dive into your question, Madam Moderator, and I think the Kenyan model is based on contractual and service level agreements. This is mostly used PPP model engagement with the private sector in development and the deployment of the ICT infrastructure. In Kenya, for example, the e-Citizen Directorate, which I head, we have built strong partnerships with the integration on cybersecurity and the infrastructure management. For instance, the famous Safaricom, which is famously known in Africa for M-Pesa, I think powers the mobile payment backbone, while technology vendors help us with cloud hosting and system security. These agreements are mostly structured to ensure that government retains ownership of the platform, the data and the policy direction. Then the private sector enables us to scale and innovate, but sovereignty of the citizen remains paramount in this ecosystem. This is how we safeguard the public interest while allowing fair returns for our private partners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Executive Director Kelvin, you are involved in the Presidential Foreign Investment Program. Do you want to complete what His Excellency from Benue State said, what's happening in Nigeria in terms of public-private partnership experience?
Yeah. Firstly, I say thank you again for having me here. It's my first time in Zambia, and it's been an amazing experience so far. In my little experience working in the council I serve right now, I found out that most of the issues we have from foreign investors is the fact that investors right now are not really looking at countries that have a robust economy, but rather countries that are quick to act and execute. Because right now we've come to a point whereby we don't have the time where we need to waste the time of investors, because investors come into the country, they want to kind of get things done, and we have people who gatekeep, and that is one thing that the council I serve and my department had to correct, to ensure that when we have investors come into the country to want to kind of get things done, we make sure we move swiftly to ensure that things are done right. And again, from my experience too, I found out that government right now, we need to kind of find a way to kind of move partnership with investors from being just transactional and move it into co-creation. And what do I mean? Because I found out that when we have investors come into Nigeria, into the country, from my experience, and all they are after, or all the plan is just profitability, there are chances that those kind of projects get to fail. But when you have partnerships with this investor whereby risk are being shared, right? We come into an agreement for a long-term partnership. The chances of it being sustained and working fine is actually possible. Because right now we need to kind of see in African countries, we need to see how we can move investment partnerships from just profitability, right, to co-creation. Like I said, from just profitability to impact. Because one thing for sure is that a government that is impactful would definitely succeed, And everywhere I go, I'm always talking about how government agencies or government parastatals has to have an high inclusion of the young ones in their government, because there are so many things right now that the young ones, because even at my age, I still have people who are younger than me, and when they speak and I see what they share and how they bring up ideas, I wonder what age I am in, despite my young age, So investment right now and partnership with investors right now has gone beyond just infrastructural growth and development. It has moved to impact, resolutions, and creating jobs, because one thing that African leaders need to kind of work on right now, from my own experience, is to see how we can come into agreement with investors that when MOUs or contracts are being signed, it doesn't die when you are out of office. There should be something that has to go continuously, for the next generation or for the next person taking over to continue from. Thank you.
Deputy Director Philippe, do you want to complement what has been said on the public-private partnership experience in Kenya?
All right. Yeah. So thank you so very much. I would basically want to re-emphasize what my colleagues have alluded to, and specifically speaking from an aspect of the Kenyan context. I work for an agency called the ICT Authority, and what we do is basically to ensure that government institutions are connected, digital platforms and services are provided to them. And you realize that some of these critical technology infrastructures require private and public partnership. So you'll notice that essentially you'd want to have a platform that supports what my DG has alluded to, that is service level agreements. And these service level agreements are going to be built around service management collaboration. You want to ensure that the vendor or the provider whom you are engaging with meets the expectations. So from the various PPPs, I've had BOT being mentioned, that is build, operate, transfer. We have concessions, which we have also implemented in Kenya. However, when you look at it from the aspect of the private partner, I want to talk from this aspect. You want to ensure that the people or the private sector who are investing in this, field have their risk aspect taken care of, because you want to provide for them an assurance that their investment will actually bear results, so that the aspect of productivity in their investment can be provided for. The other aspect would be, as a government, how do you ensure transparency? That has been our greatest challenge, and from an African context, that is something you find most governments are grappling with. The other aspect would be the outcome. Exactly what is the outcome of this PPP? And we've seen most initiatives around Africa are towards digitalization. So what are the measurable metrics when you are entering into this PPP that you'd want for both the country and the private sector to agree? Because ideally, you're investing money and you can only be able to measure returns out of an output. So that needs to come out quite clearly that these are the outcome and these are the forecast deliverables within this PPP. We have had projects that we invest and they don't come out to improve any social aspects of the citizenry. So those are some of the things that we need to make sure from the all stakeholders that has actually been provided for. And lastly, I want to talk about flexibility. Technology is quite a dynamic field. You want to make sure that when new technology emerges, the PPP model that you have entered to, whether it's software development, infrastructure scaling, is flexible enough to allow that particular change when it does happen. And of course, most importantly, from an African context, capacity building. We want to ensure that when these, big tech or whoever private individuals are investing, there is capacity building for our young generation such that they are able to provide jobs, we are able to scale, we are able to learn what that particular technology and scale it to our, what I would call far-flung areas, or to basically promote digital inclusivity for everyone. Thank you.
So it's good you actually led the way to the second question, because before I wrap up, the key messages that I've just heard on the innovation, as you were saying, the need to really benefit from the latest innovation, this flexibility that is required. So my question here is on this new area of innovation like AI, cloud, fintech, cybersecurity. How do you effectively collaborate with industry, going into more details to harness this innovation, while, as you mentioned, safeguarding your sovereignty and citizen, the country's interest. So how do you structure that? How do you work this, on all the innovative topic? Your Excellency, you want to start?
Yes, it's important to strike an equilibrium between the national interest, the public interest, and the profitability of the investors' business. In global conversations, the preponderance of opinion is that artificial intelligence, fintech, cloud, and all of these instruments have the capacity and the capability to provide over 133 million jobs globally. But then we also have to look at the debilitating factors, which is the threat to national security and all of that. In Nigeria, in the year 2024, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria granted an assent to the amendment of the Cybercrime Protection Act. And that was signed into law on the 28th of February 2024. We also have other institutional frameworks that are designed to protect, the data, of the country and also that of investors. And so these frameworks are very necessary to protect the national interest and the rights of citizens. So the institutional frameworks and the legal frameworks that I have mentioned here, just like the Cybercrime Amendment Act of 2024, are veritable instruments that safeguard, and protect our data.
Thank you very much. Major General, do you want to add a comment on the innovative part of technologies?
Okay. Egypt's government is actively promoting collaboration with the industry to drive innovation in AI, cloud, fintech, and cybersecurity, while safeguarding citizens' rights and national interests. We have issued national AI strategy. Egypt has drafted a national AI strategy that fosters partnership between the government and private sectors to create a dynamic work environment, spurring innovation and supporting digital transformation. We also has issued cybersecurity laws. Egypt has enacted laws such as anti-cyber and information technology crimes law in 2018 and personal data protection law in 2020 to regulate cybersecurity and protect citizens' data. Research and development, the National Telecommunication Institute offers research and development services, consultancy, and technical expertise to industries, ensuring adherence to norms and regulations. We also have training and education. NTI provides specialized training programs, workshops, and digital initiatives such as Creativia innovation hubs to upskill Egyptian youth and professionals in ICT and cybersecurity. Industry-academia collaboration. The government encourages collaboration between industry and academia with initiatives like Afro-Asian Forum for Innovation and Technology competitions, safeguarding citizens' rights and national interests. We have a regulatory framework. Egypt government is establishing a robust regulatory framework to ensure compliance with cybersecurity laws and protect citizens' data. Compliance and monitoring. We also compliance and monitoring. Cybersecurity firms like many companies in Egypt offer risk mitigation, compliance, and monitoring service to ensure business adhere to regulation. The government is promoting public awareness about cybersecurity and data protection through initiatives like the Egypt Digital Platform. We also have a private sector partnership in investment and funding. The government is encouraging private sector investment in research and development in innovation with initiatives like electronics innovation hubs. We also have joint ventures, companies, national and international companies are leveraging Egypt's capabilities in electronics design, embedded software, and systems for global delivery. We also have initiative to support startup companies. By fostering collaboration between industry, academia, and the government, Egypt aims to become a leading hub for innovation and AI, cloud, fintech, and cybersecurity, while ensuring citizens' rights and national interests are protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General. Do you want to complete on the...
Thank you, Moderator.
Sorry,
I think
Ambassador.
as a government of the Republic of Kenya, we recognize and appreciate the development of AI and other emerging technologies. However, our role is to provide an enabling environment so that innovation and technology can be able to thrive and move the development of Kenya forward. Our approach is, we partner, but we regulate very firmly. because if they're not regulated firmly, then it can actually have an effect on national security. For example, we have an AI-powered chat box that is developing currently on my platform, the e-Citizen, in collaboration with the industry, but it is hosted in a government-managed environment to safeguard national security. Then we also have the Data Protection Act of 2019. This is the legal framework to ensure that citizen rights are protected even as we embrace innovation. It is about finding the balance between agility and accountability, because that is quite key. Then we've also developed the 5-year development strategy for AI. This has been launched in collaboration with the industry players to provide a roadmap for responsible AI adoption, balancing innovation and governance, and private benefits as a first risk of mitigations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you want to complete what has been said?
Yes, thank you very much. One thing for sure is I think we need to kind of be cautious of AI. AI is good and all that, but AI must not replace human intelligence, right? It has to serve human intelligence. And one typical example I'm going to give is, right, because right now, in Nigeria right now, the economy is not just shifting towards economic reform. It's shifting towards mindset reform, ensuring that every citizen is kind of informed of the right thing to do. A typical example I'm going to give, it's amazing to know that in Nigeria right now, we have, it's been created, we kind of have our own ChatGPT, which was created by our head of service, whereby you can actually use it to kind of get the answers to questions. And most times it's even easy, because right now you see we need to get to a point whereby we kind of invest more in our own, because Africa right now should not be seen as a place where people come to and have opportunities to make money. It should be a place whereby people come to invest to and see potential and believe that we are doing them a favor, not them doing us a favor. Because at the end of the day, yes, we have our challenges, but our challenges have made us resilient, and made us stronger to become better people in whatever it is we do, And one good thing again, because our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu right now, has invested so much in young people in government, and so are bigger stakeholders in the government too, also ensuring that kind of things are actually done the right way. Because to get to a point whereby oil is not the only export that we have, innovation and human power is what we can sell. Because if you don't have the right people to do the right thing, there are chances that whatever it is you have to sell or to give would die. And another perfect thing right now is that we are moving from just paperwork to performance. We want to ensure that we don't just do the talk or do the right thing, right? We are actually performing and giving the citizens answers to whatever it is that they have. One of the initiatives that I brought up in our council is to see how we could have every citizen included in the growth of the country. And what we did was that, which is ongoing right now, is to see how we come up with a program whereby we make it open to every citizen to submit proposals that can solve a problem in any sector of their interest. And when they submit these proposals right now, we look in our archives of investors that we have, we look for investors that can finance that project or that idea, and whoever submitted that idea gets to champion that idea. That is inclusion, all right, in the area of IT and digitalization. Because we believe that right now in the country, we have a lot of people who have great ideas to get things done, but what they don't have is the opportunity. What they don't have is the chance, And one thing I decided, I've thought right now is that we need to kind of stop having the empathy for youth. Rather, we need to create a system that believes in them, because I was talking to the governor of Zamfara State yesterday, and he said something. He said many of these young people going into crisis because we just give them money, but we don't create a system that enables them or empowers them to prefer solutions. And even me, that's my own way of doing it, because when I got into government, and I always had friends who were always calling me, oh, they need this, they need that, they need money. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to give you money, but there is an opportunity. What can you prefer? Because I believe it is best when you make your money from your own initiative than getting free money, you would always come back for more. So governments, African leaders, countries in Africa right now need to see how we kind of include our young people, because these people right now, they have brilliant ideas that if they speak, it will blow your mind. And we need to and you see, what I've come to understand right now is that growth is not about how fast you are, but how connected you are. Looking back to back in the days whereby we need to communicate via writing, you will find you could do all your writing, but it will take forever to get to your destination. But right now we have internet and we have connectivity whereby in moments you are sending, and I want to just imagine someone dating a jealous lover and you have to send a letter and it takes 10 days for you to, in this new age, one would kind of have a high BP when they've not gotten their response by now, So but right now, things are done faster because why? Africa right now, people are focused more on connectivity than just being fast. And again, being fast does not necessarily mean that it gets the job done. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to add a quick word?
Thank you. I think, Kelvin, that is a very valid statement that you made. And, I agree that Africa, even as we, move towards digitalization, technology transformation, there's also need for us to find homegrown solution, especially in, for example, what Stephanie asked, which is on cybersecurity and AI. From a Kenyan context, this is something that, of course, our DG has alluded to. We have an AI strategy. And when it comes to cybersecurity, we think that we need to innovate for our own homegrown problems and solutions. In early 2010, we had a very serious problem within our mobile wallet money system, which was SIM swap. You would actually have your digital mobile money wallet, hacked, and actually your digital money, transferred to another number. So we, using the telcos and in partnership with the local tech-savvy and, of course, developers, we actually created a homegrown solution through innovation that has actually ensured that problem has been addressed. And therefore, as Kelvin said, you don't need someone to come and give you money to solve your problem. Find your own homegrown solution through technology, through innovation, and using our huge young population of young people who are very highly skilled in technology to actually solve our own problems. I believe that is the way to go so that we can actually not only transform the lives of our citizens, but also improve the social, economic welfare of our people. Thank you.
I really understand that everywhere you've created strong legal frameworks for public-private partnership. I think that's the basis. I've heard it from all of you. I've heard that you have to, when you create this public-private partnership, the government has to really deliver, not really speed, but agility deliver, for the partner, the private or industry partner. I've noted that government needs to keep control of the sort of structure and use, work with private sector, industry in partnership to scale. And I've heard, the impact with the young generation that really needs to be involved, trained and involved, to deliver job and deliver them a future. And I think that's a theme that we heard in the news recently in some countries. So not to be taken lightly, I agree. So going into, I'm going to go and I'm going to ask you some individual questions to go a little bit deep down in some of the initiatives you've launched for public-private partnerships. So, Your Excellency, in Nigeria, you've created, in the state of Benue, you created a structure. How does it concretely work? do you do, how does it work? So you do call for, expertise needed for this topic, and then, can you tell us a bit more about the functioning of this company that the government of Benin has created?
Yeah, let me pay tribute to the governor of Benue State, Reverend Alia, who is the chief visionary of the digital transformation policy of our state. We have liberalized, the digital space in Benue as a subnational within the federal government of Nigeria through quite a lot of platforms. For instance, we have taken away the costs that is associated with deploying the backbone across the state. We have invited investors to come in at zero cost to deploy the fiber optics digital frameworks. We have also deepened the interconnectivity in about 19 ministries, departments, and agencies across the state. And we are also working hand in hand with private sector to promote the deployment of these digital platforms. It is very instructive that as we are having this summit here in Nigeria also at this moment, the Nigerian Governors Forum, in collaboration with the Millennium Challenge Corporation, is also having a roundtable to deepen broadband interconnectivity across the country and to get investors to put in more into that particular digital space. I think this is the trend right now in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you want to mention the latest service that you've launched for Parliament, like you were mentioning to me earlier?
Yes, we have the e-Parliament platform, which today has made the legislative process in Benue very seamless. We have reduced paperwork by over 60%, and we're hoping that by 2027, we should have hit about 90% free paperwork in the legislative business and the processes, across ministries, departments, and agencies within the state. And so, beyond that, we have also liberalized the system, and we're inviting investors within the African continent to come and understudy the Benue model. I dare to say that in the federating units of Nigeria, Benue is second only to Lagos State, Nigeria. I stand to be corrected. We have achieved this through the institutional frameworks because we must understand that agreements, as perfect as they are, can only be enforced by legal frameworks. And so for us, that was the starting point. We were able to take executive bills to the House of Assembly, and we have passed laws that will regulate the agreements, that we have with private investors in the digital space.
Thank you. Going back to Kenya, I had a question on you were talking about the young people, the local tech, ecosystem that you are really trying to build. So my question was, how do you balance, what strategy you have to balance, this local SME, incubation area. So, how do you balance intervention from, for instance, international industry and local, ecosystem?
What we did in Kenya was to look at the interest. What is the Kenya's interest? What is the partner's interest? And most importantly, we have a very robust and very open economy, whereby investors at the end of the day can be allowed to repatriate their profits without any inhibitions, because we are aware that most of developing countries, African countries, have been facing that kind of a challenge. But however, let me put it straight to this conference on what we have done as a government of Kenya. And we would wish other African countries to come and see what we have done, then you can be able to replicate what we are currently doing. Because what is currently happening in Kenya, especially on e-citizen platform, I would call it is actually revolutionary. It's unimaginable. E-citizen started in 2013, 2014. Then it was revamped in 2022 with the present Kenyan administration that took over power in 2022. We started off 2013, 2014, we had about 300 to 400 services. But currently, we are at 22,000 services in 2 years. We used to collect, we had about 60,000 account holders on eCitizen. But currently, we have around 15 million account holders on eCitizen. 15 million, it's unimaginable. And with 500,000 people every day, every 24 hours, scaling through that ecosystem, looking for services, government services on that platform. Now imagine all these 500,000 people would have been moving all over the place in Kenya, driving cars, biking, walking, or doing whatever they're walking. They've left their other economic activities just to look for government services. Currently, they can access those services on their smartphones. It's unimaginable. 15 million account holders and 500,000 people every day, every 24 hours, scaling through the ecosystem, looking for services. What we have also done successfully on this ecosystem, we've made it scalable for people with disabilities. And I think we were last year, we were given an award at the United Nations for being the only country in Africa having had looked at the people with disabilities and given them a platform that they can be able to actually access services within five minutes. And previously, you could imagine what they used to do. Currently, apart from that, just give me a second. We used to collect 60 million Kenya shillings, which is less than $1 million every day. Do you know how much we're collecting now? It's unimaginable. We are currently collecting that is about 750 million Kenya shillings, which is about, in dollars, which is about $6.1 million to $7.7 million every 24 hours. It's unimaginable. Most of these monies used to go into private pockets, but they're now going into government. And what is our projection? This is our projection. In the next 2 years, on this ecosystem, we are going to collect between 3 to 4 billion Kenya shillings, which is about 23 million, between 23 million to $30 million in every year. In fact, as we are currently speaking, the e-citizen is actually going to collect half the revenue that Kenya Revenue Authority is collecting. So you can imagine. What is our budget as a government of Republic of Kenya? It's about 4 trillion Kenya shillings. E-citizen, we are going to collect 1.5 trillion. The Kenya Revenue Authority is going to collect around 3.5 trillion. What is our budget? 4 trillion. We would have surpassed our budget. So this ecosystem is revolutionary. So kindly, we as Africa, this is the way we need to go. We need to leverage on technology and take it very seriously so that we can be able to serve our people, so that they don't have to walk all over the place looking for government services. They can be able to access their government services on their phone. Thank you.
I wanted to ask Executive Director Kelvin, do you want to take this question as well on the way you balance local ecosystem and international partner investment?
So one of the strategy we have, which is very simple, is that we position the government as partners and we don't gatekeep, right? Which is one thing I feel many government officials need to kind of check and ensure it's put in place. And we don't see investors as capital providers. Because most times when we talk about investors, what many of us think about is just the money aspect, but we don't think about the development part of things. So we see them as development partners and not just capital providers, And through the council that I serve right now, what we try to see how we create a single entry point for investors to come in, and we look at the right agency, NDA, to direct them to. Because one major thing that I feel kills the spirit of many investors is the process or the progression of how things actually go. And that it has a way of kind of breaking down an investor's confidence. And one thing I found out about investors, the more you build their confidence, the more they are willing and ready to go the extra mile to get things done for you and with you. And I tell my people most times that investing in Africa or in Nigeria is not a thing of goodwill, but a thing of good sense. Because if you see the value in what you are doing, you see the value of what you are bringing, you understand that it is not about the now, but in the long run, you are making an impact for yourself as an investor, and also an impact is happening to the country or that you are investing in. So we need to kind of see how we see donor funders as development partners and not just capital providers. In that way, we get to think of how profits and is being shared, values are being shared. And of course, right now we focus more on de-risking issues than the profitability part of things right now. Because when you focus more on profit, the chances are high that whatever it is that is coming into the country, right, might even be dead on arrival, So that's it.
Thank you very much. Philip, I have another question for you. To talk ICT, because we're talking about this international and local ecosystem collaboration. As you said, partnership, long-term, it's very important. As an ICT director, how do you make sure you are, involved in all the international discussion, always up to date, on the latest innovation standard, making sure that your country benefits from all of this?
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so very much, Stephanie. And I think I basically want to re-emphasize what my director, DG, has indicated, that, digital transformation will basically assist us in, even getting rid of this debt burden that we always have. And from what he has explained, you realize that the role of government is actually in policy. We need to ensure that from a government perspective, we are able to lead technology transformation, not as regulators per se, but as enablers. And as enablers, we do not exist in a silo. We are governed by international standards, for example, that ideally support integration. So we need to make sure that even the innovations that we are making are integratable so that they can support both the hardware and software that is continuously being churned out. And therefore, as a government, what we need to do, we need to ensure that we collaborate using either, the academia, the civil society, big tech, so that we are able to align, even from an academia perspective, what are the demands around education? What are the demands around, the use cases, that the systems that we need to come out that will solve our own African problem? And that is where, from a government perspective, policy comes in. We need to define and come up with policies that will support this particular innovation so that policy does not hinder progress, but facilitates that particular progress, and therefore transformation becomes an enabler of social development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last question, Major General, is for you, because I want to conclude on the identity topic. You will know why. No, because at the moment I know you are, you play a central role in identity management, your agency, and you are at the moment consolidating your EID management system. So do you want to tell us, how you are doing that, how you're working with local and international partner, from industry?
Okay. The Egyptian Ministry of Interior is working closely with private technology providers to modernize the national ID and civil rights registration systems, ensuring security and sovereignty over sensitive data. We have partnerships and collaborations with local companies, which provides technology and to national ID system, which includes biometric data and secure software solutions. This company provided technical support for the integration of the national ID database with various external parties, such as the recruitment department, public security department, and Ministry of Supply and Internal Trade. The ministry has also collaborated with other government agencies, like the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, to deliver mobile service centers and technological centers to the civil status sector. Our national ID system includes biometric data, such as fingerprints and facial recognition, to ensure secure identification and authentication. The ministry has implemented secure software solutions to protect sensitive data and prevent unauthorized access. The ministry has enacted laws such as the Anti-Cyber and Information Technology Crimes Law and Personal Data Protection Law and Regulatory Cybersecurity and Protect Citizen Data. The ministry has introduced automated civil registry machines in various locations, including malls and government offices, to provide convenient access to civil registry services. These machines offer services like birth certificates, death certificates, marriage, and so on. The ministry has also launched mobile service centers to reach citizens in remote areas. Overall, the Egyptian Ministry of Interior is taking a multi-faceted approach to modernize the national ID and civil rights registration system, ensuring security, sovereignty, and convenience for citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Major General. Thank you so much to all of you, Your Excellency, distinguished speakers. I wish we had had more time to continue the discussion. I would like to also thank our audience for your attention and your
Let's
round
give them
of
a warm
applause.
hand. Thank you.
Yes.